Are you prepared for when the unthinkable happens and the grid goes down? Welcome to Grid Down Survival, your ultimate guide to urban living off the grid when SHTF. Whether it's a natural disaster, an economic collapse, or any unexpected event that leaves you without access to essential utilities, this channel is here to equip you with the tools, knowledge, and confidence you need to survive and thrive in challenging urban environments. From creating sustainable food and water supplies to generating your own energy, securing your home, and building community networks, we cover all aspects of off-the-grid urban survival. Remember, preparedness isn't just for rural settings. With the right strategies, you can turn your apartment or city home into a self-sufficient haven when times get tough. If you're ready to take control of your own survival and ensure your family's safety no matter what comes your way, then this is the place for you. Don't wait until it's too late. Take the first step toward preparedness today. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing community of like-minded individuals committed to resilience and self-reliance. Let's face the future together. 1. Food and water shortages. Urban areas are particularly vulnerable to disruptions in the supply chain. Grocery stores only carry enough food to last 3 days, and people panic very quickly. Once the shelves are cleared, there's no cavalry coming to refill them. If you're not already storing food, you're playing a losing hand. Non-perishable goods like canned food, rice, beans, and freeze-dried meals should already be stockpiled. They need to be stored in a safe, dry location that isn't obvious to looters. Water is even more crucial. Without it, you're dead in days. Tap water will stop flowing as soon as pressure drops in the system, and bottled water will be scooped up immediately in a panic-buying frenzy. You should prioritize water filtration and purification methods. Invest in quality portable water filters and purification tablets. If possible, store large amounts of water in sturdy, safe containers. Rainwater collection will likely become necessary, so having tarps and containers or installing a proper rainwater catchment system will pay off. Also, figure out how much water you and your family need daily, not just for drinking, but also for cooking and basic hygiene. Gardening will become an essential skill for long-term survival. Even in urban spaces, having a small balcony garden or turning backyards into full-scale vegetable plots will make the difference between survival and starvation. Focus on fast-growing, high-calorie crops like potatoes, carrots, and leafy greens. Forget about ornamental plants. Every spare inch of soil needs to support food production. 2. Communication breakdown. When the grid fails, everything tied to it will fail too. Your cell phone, TV, internet, everything. At that point, staying informed and connected with the outside world becomes a massive challenge. Without knowledge of what's happening, you're flying blind. That's the quickest way to disaster. A battery-powered or hand-crank radio is absolutely critical. It can keep you up to date on emergency broadcasts and possible government response actions, if any exist. Two-way radios, like walkie-talkies, are the next step in communication. These allow you to stay in touch with your immediate group, post guards around your property, or coordinate with trusted neighbors. Avoid broadcasting information recklessly. Anyone listening in is now a potential threat, especially when desperate people learn you're prepared and stocked. Plan for communication contingencies beforehand. Create a set of specific, pre-agreed codes or phrases for your group. If things go south, clear and reliable communication might be the only thing keeping cohesion intact. Also, don't ignore the old-school options like written messages or physical signals. Flags, mirrors, and smoke signals might seem ancient, but they work in a pinch. Ultimately, it's about combining technology and practicality. Radios keep you informed, but spreading information with caution is how you stay secure. Remember, silence can sometimes be your best friend in a world gone mad. Stay off the radar as much as possible. If outsiders don't know you're there, they can't come after what you have. 3. Banking system collapse. When the power goes out, so do digital payment systems. That means no ATMs, no credit cards, and no mobile payment apps. Your bank account might as well not exist at that point. If you've got cash on hand, it might work temporarily to barter for supplies or services in the early days of the collapse, but don't count on it lasting. Once the public realizes that the paper currency is just paper, its value plummets and chaos ensues. Trust in the banking system is the backbone of money's value, and without it, that system collapses. Bartering will become the only viable form of commerce. Prepare now by stocking high-demand barter items. Toilet paper, alcohol, batteries, water filters, over-the-counter medication, and even coffee will be worth far more than traditional currency. These are items people will want and need when their own supplies run out. Ammunition, though contentious, will also become one of the top trading items. But here's a blunt truth. Don't trade away anything that could provide someone else a tactical advantage over you. Having tangible assets like silver, gold, or other hard commodities might also help. Precious metals historically retain value in times of economic collapse. Silver coins especially are small, portable, and easy to trade. However, you should factor in the practicality of bartering with such items. It's not always convenient to offer someone a gold coin when their real-world need is fuel or food. Besides trading, learn skills that can be bartered as well. If you can fix machinery, purify water, or create basic medical solutions from herbal resources, you have something valuable to offer without parting with your supplies. Survival isn't just about what you own, but what you can do. Resourcefulness and group cooperation could make all the difference. 4. Emergency water plans. When the grid fails, access to clean water becomes your single most critical issue. If you expect water to keep flowing from your taps or to easily find bottled water in stores, think again. Without a plan, you won't last long. Start with storing water now, lots of it. FEMA recommends 1 gallon of water per person per day, but realistically you'll need more. Drinking, cooking, and hygiene require it, and you don't want to skimp when it comes to survival. Large containers like water barrels, stackable water bricks, or even repurposed bottles can be lifesavers. Be sure to rotate stored water. Stagnant water can grow bacteria over time, so invest in a water treatment solution or plan on boiling long-term storage before consuming it. But storage only lasts so long. You'll need a way to collect and purify water after your supply runs out. Rainwater harvesting is your best friend if you're urban. Set up barrels to catch runoff from your roof and make sure you have a filtration system to remove contaminants. Urban areas often have pollution. Filtering your water isn't optional, it's mandatory. Affordable solutions like portable water filters, purification tablets, or even DIY charcoal filtration systems are worth their weight in gold. Familiarize yourself with these methods now. Don't forget scouting. There's water hiding in plain sight, even in a city. Drained pools, fountains, or creeks can serve as backups, but don't trust any of it to be clean. Treat everything like it's contaminated until proven otherwise. If you aren't ready to secure clean water when everything goes south, you simply won't survive. 5. Securing food in the city. Food scarcity during a crisis will turn urban areas into war zones. Don't wait until shelves are stripped bare. Start building food security well before disasters strike. First, stockpile shelf-stable foods. Rice, beans, pasta, and canned goods will keep you alive longer than fancy freeze-dried meals. Focus on cheap, high-calorie, and long-lasting items. These foods don't require refrigeration and can sustain you through weeks or even months of chaos. Don't forget spices and seasonings. Surviving doesn't mean you have to choke down bland meals every day. But hoarding food isn't enough. People who fail to secure their stock properly are asking for trouble. Hide your food. Thieves and desperate neighbors will target those who appear well-fed. Spread your supplies into multiple secret caches around your home. Only keep minimal supplies visible to avoid being an obvious target. Urban foraging is another skill you absolutely must master. Cities are full of overlooked food sources, but only if you know where to look. Public parks and abandoned lots often contain edible plants like dandelions, clovers, or wild onions. Learn to identify these now. Guessing later can lead to poisoning. Dumpster diving may sound extreme, but it's a viable option in dire situations. Supermarkets often toss expired food that's still perfectly good. If your pride gets in the way, you won't last. Last, consider growing some of your own food. Use balconies, rooftops, or small yards to grow easy crops like lettuce, tomatoes, or herbs. You won't grow enough to be self-sufficient, but every little bit supports your resilience. And one final tip, don't advertise what you have. The moment people know you have food, you become a target. 6. Food storage without refrigeration. When the power goes out, your fridge becomes a ticking time bomb. Perishables like meat, dairy, and fruits will start spoiling within hours. If you rely on refrigeration, you'll waste precious food fast. The first step, eat smart. Use fresh foods early and save shelf-stable supplies for later. This isn't the time to play picky. Consume what's likely to go bad first. Coolers with ice can buy you some extra time if you've prepped in advance, but they aren't a long-term solution unless you have an ice source or a solar-powered generator. Investing in tools like solar-powered fridges or passive refrigerators can be a game-changer, though these can be costly and require preparation. For true grid-down scenarios, traditional food preservation trumps modern convenience. Methods like salting, smoking, or drying extend the shelf life of meats and fish. If you can source salt in bulk, it's key to keeping proteins safe for weeks. Smoking meats is a double win. It preserves them and enhances the flavor, making limited resources feel like a luxury. Pickling is another method with ancient roots, but modern-day relevance. All you need is vinegar and some basic vegetables to create long-lasting stored food. Dehydration, whether through solar dehydrators or electric models, while you still have power, is excellent for creating lightweight, long storage options for fruits, vegetables, and even meats. Canning might feel old-fashioned, but it's one of the smartest things you can do. With a bit of time and the right materials, you can preserve just about any food for months or even years. Stock up on jars, lids, and a canning guide now. Proper storage keeps food safe and prevents unnecessary waste, valuable when resupplying isn't an option. Lastly, stay organized. Chaos is the enemy of survival. Mark expiration dates on everything. Rotate stock religiously and make sure you're eating older supplies first. When the grid fails, your ability to manage food without refrigeration will determine if you're ready to ride out the storm or left scrambling. 7. Maximizing fuel efficiency. When living off the grid in an urban environment during a grid-down scenario, fuel conservation can mean the difference between staying alive and running out of vital resources. Whether it's for cooking, heating, or basic survival functions, every ounce of fuel counts. You need to minimize waste and make every effort to stretch your supply. Start by switching to cooking methods that consume less fuel. Pressure cookers are ideal because they reduce cooking times and save energy. Think carefully before every meal. Can you boil, steam, or prepare food in one pot? Multi-purpose cooking is more efficient. Rocket stoves are another game changer. They burn small amounts of wood or biomass with incredible efficiency, generating high heat with minimal fuel. These stoves are compact and perfect for both outdoor cooking and emergencies. If the weather allows, take advantage of solar ovens. These devices harness the sun's energy to cook food without consuming fuel at all. But remember, they're only useful on sunny days. Keeping a backup plan is critical. If you're low on fuel or out completely, consider switching to a raw diet. Foods like fruits, vegetables, and nuts don't require cooking and are a quick way to conserve both energy and supplies. Look for food items that can be consumed as is or need minimal preparation. Planning your meals to reduce unnecessary energy use will help get you through prolonged outages. On top of that, don't forget to ration your fuel supplies carefully. Start identifying alternative sources such as scavenging. But focus on safety. Don't waste yourself on reckless foraging trips. Finding efficient ways to cook while consuming less fuel could determine how far your resources last and whether you outlast the crisis. 8. Surviving urban heat traps. No electricity means no air conditioning. For urban dwellers, this can turn your home into a stifling heat trap, especially during summer. Cities retain heat because of concrete, asphalt, and glass, making them hotter than surrounding rural areas. Without preparation, extreme heat can cause dehydration, heat stroke, or worse. Stay one step ahead. Block sunlight from entering your home by covering windows with thick curtains, reflective foil, or even improvised materials like flattened cardboard. Prioritize the cooler spaces in your home, such as basements or lower floors. Hot air rises, so the higher you go, the more unbearable the heat becomes. At night, temperatures are cooler. Use this time to sleep or recover. During the day, in the absence of power, use wet cloths on your skin or wrap them around your neck to cool down. Keep battery-powered fans handy, but use them sparingly to conserve your battery reserves. Hand fans can also help, though they require more effort. Above all, hydration is everything. Keep a steady supply of clean drinking water and electrolyte packets. When your body sweats, it loses essential salts and minerals that need to be replaced. Stock up on electrolyte tablets, sports drinks, or even DIY electrolyte solutions to fight the effects of dehydration. Without refrigeration, it's harder to keep liquids cold, but lukewarm hydration is still better than nothing. Mental and physical resilience plays a huge role in surviving extreme heat. Pace yourself. If you're walking or working, take frequent breaks and avoid direct sunlight during the hottest hours of the day. Heat drains your energy fast, so prioritize survival tasks and avoid wasting your strength. Heat can kill faster than you think. Surviving in an overheated urban environment without electricity demands strict planning and disciplined execution of these basic survival techniques. Do them right, and you'll stay ahead of this deadly threat. 9. Heat and warmth without power. When the power grid goes down, staying warm during cold weather isn't a luxury. It's a necessity for survival. Without heating systems, your home will lose heat rapidly, especially in winter months. Hypothermia isn't reserved for the outdoors. It can happen in your own home if you're not prepared. Start by sealing off areas of your house to conserve heat. Close doors to unused rooms and focus on keeping one central living area warm. Use heavy curtains, towels, or blankets to block drafts from windows or underneath doors. Insulation is your best friend to trap as much heat as possible. Layering is the most effective way to keep your body warm. Thermal underwear, wool socks, gloves, and hats are essential pieces of gear. Don't underestimate how much heat is lost through your extremities and head. If you're lucky enough to have a fireplace, gather a stockpile of firewood now, not later. Keep that wood dry because wet wood is useless in a crisis. If you plan to rely on propane or kerosene heaters, be aware that while they can provide warmth, they also present a serious risk. Without proper ventilation, carbon monoxide poisoning can kill you quicker than the cold. Use carbon monoxide detectors and crack open a window when using these heaters. If you don't already own these heaters, and your climate gets harshly cold, it's time to rethink your options. Candles can provide minimal heat in small spaces, but should be used cautiously due to the fire risk. Keep sleeping bags and wool blankets around. They will be life-saving. Invest in survival-grade sleeping bags that are rated for sub-zero temperatures. There is no substitution for gear designed to keep you alive. Above all, don't leave heating to chance. You can't afford to wait until it's cold to start getting this stuff together. When the power goes out and the cold sets in, all bets are off unless you're prepared. 10. Water access and storage. Water is the most critical survival resource, and yet it's the first system to collapse when the grid goes down. Municipal water systems depend on electricity for pumps, purification, and delivery. These systems can fail within 24-48 hours after a power outage. You'll quickly realize that once the faucets run dry, every aspect of urban living becomes exponentially harder. First and foremost, if you're fortunate enough to know in advance that a power outage is imminent, you need to act fast. Fill every available container with water. Sinks, bathtubs, bottles, buckets, pots, anything that can hold liquid. Do this immediately before others can panic buy or hoard. The bathtub in particular can store a massive amount of water. If you have the chance, purchase a water bob or similar bathtub storage bag to keep water cleaner and contained. Long-term planning is even more crucial because survival after the initial few days will depend entirely on how much water you've stored or can gather. The rule of thumb is 1 gallon of water per person per day for drinking and sanitation, but honestly, that's the bare minimum. Double or triple that amount if you have kids, pets, or anyone with medical needs. Water also isn't just about drinking. You'll need it to cook, clean, and flush toilets if you've got a system reliant on water tanks. Store water in durable, food-grade containers. Rotate stored water every 6 months to avoid stagnation, or treat it with chloride bleach if necessary. If storage space is an issue, invest in water purification solutions like filters or iodine tablets. When the grid is down long-term, you'll need a way to treat potentially contaminated water from natural sources such as streams or rainwater. While boiling water is effective, it requires fuel and time, resources that will already be in short supply. Rainwater collection systems, such as barrels attached to your gutters, can be invaluable. Just make sure the system is set up and functional before the grid goes down. When the crisis hits, it's too late to start improvising. Ensure any rainwater you collect is filtered and treated before use for drinking. Water scarcity will become a brutal issue quickly, and those unprepared will face dire consequences.